welcome. I'm Sam of Stitchy Sam here on FlossTuber, but also on Instagram and TikTok. Welcome to my channel about cross stitching, and I'm really sorry for my usual viewers. It's been a while, hasn't it? It's been 2 months, not my usual monthly FlossTube, and that's purely, well, it's not purely, but it's down to a number of factors really. It's been really hot in the UK, and me and heat really don't get on with each other, and you really don't want to see a hot sweaty mess. Fortunately, it's a lot cooler today. We're on the 1st of August, and we're forecast a week or two of relatively mild temperatures, much cooler, more pleasant, but we're in desperate need of rain. Anyway, that's less of me waffling. I also had an interview and had a job application, and then the following interview. I didn't get the job, however I got some really positive feedback, so it was well worth doing. It's basically just life and the climate here in the UK, with it ever changing, has been proven really tricky. So, but I have been trying to do some stitching in an evening, even if it's just an hour or two. So I do have quite a few whips to show you, and nearly finished. She's sort of almost there, but not. And I'd really enjoy to get your feedback on that. Or lastly, I will go through what my plans are for August. So firstly, I want to start on that almost finished design. Sorry. I got all my stack of whips out, and for some reason the wrong one on the top wasn't the one I needed. So yeah, and excuse the zips, I know some people don't like them, but my first one is Blossoming Hedgehog. It was the design is from the World of Cross Stitching magazine from 2020. I started it on the 31st of August 2020, and it's part of a much bigger design, but I've decided just to stitch the hedgehog because I just don't think it needs any more with this beautiful fabric that I've got. So this is 18 count fabric by Chromatic Alchemy. So this really cute hedgehog, and let's cut off the nose a little bit. Oh dear. So by Chromatic Alchemy, which don't exist anymore, unfortunately, and I'm not quite sure what the shade is, but it's sort of like a purpley blue fabric. So it's 18 count, even weave. You can see there. Now my quandary is I finished all of the back stitching, which took a lot longer than I thought, and a lot more thread than I thought, but I'm not sure if you can see, but I've started to put in a few French knots, and you can barely see them really, and there's a couple here that maybe you can see a bit more there. Unfortunately, I've sort of like, it's been so long since I've done them, I've sort of got out of practice, and some of them look great, and then others sort of disappear into the fabric, and I'm just not sure whether it's worth continuing them or not. I did ask this question on my Instagram for feedback, and a couple of people said just pull them out, doesn't need it. There's meant to be French knots at the end of all of these lines and these flowers, the pink flowers with the lines, but actually I think it's fine. And they're just really tricky and annoying to do, the French knots. So what do you think? Do you think the French knots add anything? Do you think I should persevere, or do you think I should just pull them out and say that that's a finish nonetheless? Yeah. So I'm not sure. I'm not sure. Once I put it in a frame, they'll all be squished anyway. But anyway, that's sort of like, it's an almost finished. I know I promised you that I would finish it, but it's just not going to get done, is it? So yeah, I'd really appreciate your thoughts on that one, but I'd really like to that's one of my list on my list for this year to get finished. Oh, sorry, I'll leave the zips until afterwards. The next item is my focus piece, which has been my focus piece for about a year now, which is Mario Pose, the charted by Not Another Stitcher on Etsy. Just checking that this needle minder's out of the way. And I've actually hit a milestone of sorts in terms of that I finished a row. So I finished this row here. Oh. And so I've had to roll up. It's the first design I've ever had to do that. So what I will do is I'll make sure I show a before picture, because then you can see that and what it will look like when it's complete. So you can see that Mario has got more of a face, he's got sort of a portion of an eye and a big chunk of background as well to the right of that picture. So yeah, I'm really enjoying it, and as you can see I've started on the next row. I'm using Royal Rose method, so there's a lot of parking involved, but I do find that once I get onto a new column, it's termed as the two by two blocks, 2 by 1 block. If there's park threads, it just makes it easier just to see some progress quite quickly in that column. The next one, I don't really have that much parked because there was a lot of stitches of the same colour, which is great for stitching quite a few in a row. Now, I made this my focus piece off the back of the Yorkshire Stitcher, who she's on Instagram, suggestion that we should have like a football challenge. You pick your club and you get a certain amount of points for if you win, lose, draw, score goals, red card, corners, etc. I don't say it very often, but my club is Sunderland, who did really well last season. And also for the World Cup, I decided to use England as a substitute club. My team being based in England is England. And they did quite well as well in the World Cup, which was a little bit of a surprise. So there was a lot of points there. Plus, in my infinite wisdom, I decided that any goals scored by a Sunderland player also counted to 50 additional stitches on this design. And that also went really well for the Sunderland players out there. So congratulations to them. I think there were 8 goals scored by Sunderland players, so that equated to 400 stitches. So I'm a little behind. There's about 800 stitches behind to catch up with that. So what I'm doing is I'm prioritising this for on a long weekend basis, Friday through to Mondays at the moment. So I am enjoying getting some progress on this, and I'm sure you can see from the before and after pictures, you can see how much has been done since I last showed you this in May. It might have been the beginning of June. Okay, so the next one is, I don't know why that one's on top, is my sals. So, excuse me. So the next one is the Malacca sal. It's now come to an end and all parts have been released. So there's 6 parts, and I finished part 4. So I did, which was these beautiful eyes and adding some more colour, sort of like eyeshadow almost around the eyes. And I've left it in the Nerge hoop because I intend to stitch on this a little bit each month. I do want to complete this within this year, so I'm stitching a little bit. I hope a part does take quite a few days because I only personally get a couple of hours stitching an evening. Apart from the weekends, I sometimes get another hour or two during the day. But yeah, busy mum of one. I work full time as well. Okay, so that one is fine. Just gonna pop these all down here to sort out later. My next sale is an unofficial one with my friend Manx Kathy over on Instagram. The idea was to stitch the design Hello Holly by Caterpillar Cross Stitch in 12 parts for this year, so that we'd have the start and a finish of this year, calendar year. I'm a little behind, what's new, but I have finished part 4, so that's April's part, which was this penguin and a few bits of foliage around. I'm hoping to stitch part 5 and make a start on part 6 in August. So yeah, really like this, and blast of colours. So this is my sort of nod to Jolly July. This is my only Christmas design, so yeah, so it just sort of makes sense to pull this out. But I am stitching a little bit on this every month, and as I say, hoping to get this finished this year. This is stitched on some Zygarde 14 count. Zygarde 14 count isn't my go-to fabric. However, I've already stitched the Hello Pumpkin design, and that's also on 14 count, so I wanted them to be on the same count, just so that if I ever get round to hanging them up, then they look sort of like similar in terms of size. Okay, just pop those down there. And next going to look at my whip go, which I have done fairly well with, which is great. I've got Sycamore Gap, which is a design by Lucy Pataway, and it's by Bothy Threads, is charted by, and this is on the kit's own 14 count white Ada. Again, it's really not what I would have chosen, however, because it is full coverage, I don't think it will make an awful lot of difference. So I've done quite a bit on this one actually. Finished quite a bit of the Northern Lights and stitched a little bit more of the tree. I'm not sure the light's very good today. There we go, it's better. So you can see that that's coming on nicely, and about halfway through the first page. And there's I can't remember if there's 4 or 6 pages. But yeah, the fabric, if I hold it back, isn't that big. So I think it's 4 pages. No, it's 4. I think it might be 6 actually, because I started in the middle there. But yeah, so that was really a pleasure to get pulled out. I do like the Lucy Pitaway designs, and from Bothy Threads, so that's really great. And the threads used for that are the Kids Own. I think they're DMC, but I'm not 100% sure, to be honest. And the other whip go, I've got, that's not whip go, Australia Adventures. Which is also by Caterpillar Cross Stitch. So this is going to be stitched of the map of Australia, and this is on, I think this is on 16 count light blue Ada, and what I've stitched today, this recently. I finished stitching this building and I started on the cake that's there, So I'm getting round to sort of like the Melbourne area. What I plan to do for Melbourne is to change one of the items to a cricket bat and ball, because when I think of Australia, I think immediately of cricket. So and I'm hoping that this one will be finished relatively soon too. So I've got the rest of Australia to finish, and also there's a small amount of the island, Tasmania, and also New Zealand. It also features down here. So I'd say it's probably just over halfway, although there's a couple more sea animals. I think there's I think it's stingray and an octopus maybe. But yeah, so I'm looking forward to stitching those as well. It's all full stitches, and that is stitched using DMC threads. I tend to use DMC for all of my designs, apart from Mario, which is my first and only design that I'm currently working on at the moment, the only whip that I'm using CXC threads. I just personally, for smaller designs, don't really think that they work. Well, 2 strands, but I'm using 1/1 for Mario or CXC, and I actually am really enjoying that. So I think if I were to do it again, I'd either do 10 stitch on a larger design or a single strand but 4 stitches. Finally, for Whip Go, Lakeside Village was also came up. I added that in lieu of some of my earlier finishes this year, and I absolutely adore this one. But actually, I actually checked, and actually the start date is ridiculously so long ago. I think it was like 2014. So this one's been on the go for a long time. But last time I got sick of doing water everywhere. Obviously the lake. So there's a whole string of actually I'll show you the finished design if it'll come out of this wallet nicely. Hopefully. Yeah. So this is a Dimensions Gold design. There we go. And you can see there's a whole load of houses and colour there and a tiny bit more water. So I decided to sort of like gradually go across towards, so I've done the gap here and I've started on this yellow house. So if I show you my whip, how far along I am at the moment. That's just folding over a little bit. You can see I've done some more of the yellow. I've done some yellow of the house, but I've also filled in here. Now it's a harsh line because that's the edge of the house, the yellow house, and I just can't wait for more colour just to pop out. I will eventually go back to the blue. I think I might have made a little mistake somewhere here, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to go that way and then come back down and work my way along to finish it. There is a bush here of red flowers. You can sort of like see them peeking through, and there's quite a bit of back stitch on here, which I think I'll start to make a start on that next time, just so that it's not all left to the end. I'm not one of these stitches which will leave it to the end. So yeah, I just can't wait until that's finished. Again, look, you can see I was focusing too much on finishing page 1. It was only 2 pages, well, 2 big pages, and I just got bogged down in that water. So hopefully now I've moved along and focusing on more on the colour, we'll be able to see some more progress on that one very soon. Now things So that's my whips and my nearly finish. My plans for August are to finish the hedgehog with or without the French knots. Thank you so much to Stitchy Laney, who sent me a guide on how to do French knots. I think I need a refresher, and once I see that, I'll make a decision what I do. But if you've got any tips or suggestions, do you think I should pull them out or should give it another go, then please let me know. I just had to put it away and put it into timeout, so to speak. Also, I'm going to keep Mario as my focus piece and continue on doing 4 days a week until I'm caught up with my stitches, because the new season, well, we've got friendly games, which I am including in terms of number of goals scored, because the new Premier League season starts later this month. It's come around very quick because we've had the World Cup, it's filled in the gap, so to speak. I'm also going to be completing the Whip Go, which actually Lakeside Village has come out again, and Sally Squirrel, which I have here. Unfortunately, I haven't stitched on her for the last 2 times, so I'm going to give her a little bit of extra time this month, so complete for the 2 Whip Go months. So this is Sally Squirrel by Gecko Rouge. The completed picture, sorry about the crinkles, is there. Oh, she's so cute. This was originally a sale back in, don't shoot me, 2015. So yeah, so this one's been hanging around for a bit as well. And this is what she looks like now. I'll just get these park threads out of the way. So this is Gecko Rouge's kit. So you can see that we've got to the bit where it's just the top of the acorn, which she's holding there. And there's a lot of these leaves. There's a lot of confetti to do down here. To be honest with you, I'm not sure how far down I'm going to go. I might crop it a little tiny bit, or I might just keep going. I might just get in my groove. I'm hoping the next, well, maybe this month, finish off this row. That would be quite nice to do. And I think actually the fur, and I've just got a little bit of white patch, which will stitch up really quickly. But the fur isn't that bad in terms of confetti. So I'm hoping to finish that row, and then next time I can tackle this confetti. It's not fully converted because I think when I first started I did these leaves and went down and focused on doing that leaf down there, but now I'm using Royal Rose. I'll get to it and I'll finish it next time, that leaf. So that would be it. Well, not next time, the time after. But yeah, I'm going to be focusing on completing that row for the month of August. So that's Sally Squirrel. Yeah, they've got a thing about squirrels. Yeah, we've got squirrels around here actually, but they are just the grey squirrels. Okay, just pop her back in there. Do this in just a moment. And finally, the other one design, which I've spun my wheel, or my son has spun my wheel. He loves doing it. Is for Beacon Ridge, which is, the design is by, the artwork is by Dennis Lewin, and this is what it will look like when finished. Really sorry for these shadows. I think it's the shadow of the camera on the, so yeah, it's a beautiful lighthouse. But it's charted by Heaven and Earth Design. This is a massive design, and it's stitched on 18 count magic guide. So the lines because of the age, I've faded somewhat. Yeah, just trying to, it's just sky at the moment. I'm just going to disappear for a second. Yeah, so I really want to stitch along and get to the top of the lighthouse. So I'm converting this to Royal Rose, and because there's a lot of block stitching, it does stitch up quickly. But when it was really, really hot, I really didn't want to be stitching something quite so big. Because look, it's enormous. With it being on 18 count, yeah. I really hate these shadows. Next time I'll move back into my conservatory. Much better light there. So I hope you've been able to see all of those designs. That is my final plans, and I don't normally, there is no haul. I am currently banned by my husband on stitching. However, I have ordered some more ball tip needles from Charting Creations. I know they're based in Canada, but it's actually cheaper, even with the postage, to order them from there, from Canada, and for them to get shipped here than it is to buy from vendors in the UK. So I'm not quite sure why, but that's how it is. So I don't normally do this, but sort of like I've got a little bit of life update. So if you're just here for the stitching, thank you so much, and I will hopefully see you next time. If you like what you're seeing, tick the like button and subscribe if you're able to. So thanks for now. So in terms of life, I've got some exciting news. I am going to be booking my very first cruise to go on next June. Never been on a cruise. I've not been on a foreign holiday for 10 years now, over 10 years. So it'll be over 11 years by the time next summer comes around. It's going to be a cruise up to the Norwegian fjords. So if you've got any tips whatsoever on cruises, to drinks package or not drinks package, I'm not a big drinker, in terms of alcohol, that is. Just sort of like navigating, familiarizing. Should you try and do everything that's on the ship? I don't think that's even possible, having looked at what there is on offer on the ship that I'm going on and traveling with P&O, just trying to think about whether it's P&O cruises. Next summer, I'm not quite at the booking stage. I've got to get my holidays approved by my line manager at work. So yeah, so I'm really, really looking forward to that. I may very well be sharing a vlog type video when I get back. If that's something you'd be interested in, let me know. And likewise, if you really don't want a stitching channel to have travel element, this is going to be my one and only. Well, never say never, but it's very unlikely that there's going to be more of these videos in the short term, and you can choose whether to watch it or not. But if you're totally against it, then I'll set up a new channel just for that. Yeah, so I'm really, really dead excited. Can't stop looking at Facebook groups, looking at YouTube videos. Yeah, just really, really excited. And I'm going there with my sister because I've got a disability, and my husband's unable to come with me because he has to stay with our son, who's got school. So so it's going to be a girls' trip. And yeah, she's just so lovely for agreeing to do that and to give me a helping hand when I need it. So yeah, so really, really happy. I I know it's a long way off, but I'm thinking, shall I take a small design, a small whip, just in case I get like, just want to relax and just chill out on deck or inside. Yeah, so any tips you've got, please let me know. So thank you so much for listening if you're still watching. In the meantime, so I will film again at least by the end of the month or beginning of September. So in the meantime, happy stitching.